Yeah, it was our first kid. We're happy new parents and had a wonderful bundle of joy. And one morning she just woke up with a temperature of 104. Packed her up, took her off to the ER, and yet we had two doctors and a whole team of nurses that all they did was work on our daughter for like the next 45 minutes. It was more, I think, emotionally painful for me because you see your daughter strapped to a board. Her head strapped there, arms are strapped to her side, legs are all strapped because she can't move during the test, and they have to be able to turn her to get the proper angle on the imaging device. So it was just heartbreaking seeing the 11-month-old strapped to a board doing that, and then every couple months they'd want to rerun the test, see if things were getting any better or any worse. So you're going through the whole thing. So we must have done that test probably 6 or 8 times over the course of the year.
I wouldn't go in at all. I couldn't do it. I was a wreck, but I could hear her screaming as I was sitting in the waiting room.
She was in the hospital for 4 days at that point, and they figured out that she had a problem that was called urinary reflux. Urine from her bladder backs up into her kidneys.
She has a grade 4+ reflux, which out of a scale of 5, she was almost as bad as it gets.
And he ended up sticking her on a preventative antibiotics that she would take once a day to help prevent any future infections. And so this continued for about 5-6 months, where we'd be a month on medicine and was good, and then she'd get another infection, they'd switch medicines. Right after she would take it, she'd end up vomiting after the medicine, so obviously you knew that medicine didn't do any good, and you knew if she didn't take the medicine, she was almost guaranteed to get an infection again.
Some of these medicines were 4 times a day at this point, so we're holding down a 5-month-old, forcing the medicine, a 4-month-old, a 6-month-old. It was awful.
So we went in and had the surgery, and that was a complete success.
Whether you're looking for education, or whether you have a daughter like myself and a family like ours that didn't know there were people like us out there that existed. We met another family, Coleman's family, and Kim, the mother, and I had hit it off. Her son doesn't have the same disease that my daughter has, but we're in similar situations.
So on the faces of people passing by, I see friends shaking and singing, how do you do?
My name is Coleman Stauffer, and I am 10 years old. I'm in 5th grade. When I was 9 months old, I got sick, and that's all I know. And I know it's called HUS.
He's 10, and we've been at it 9 years, and it's just.
I think the hardest part was when it all started. I just remember that as a baby, most babies, they want to learn how to walk and they want to learn how to run. All he ever did was lay. His kidneys were not getting rid of his fluid, so he would just get huge. I mean, we have pictures of him and his eyes are like this because he can't even open his eyes because he's so full of fluid. And it was hard to sit there and watch your child go through that because there's nothing you can do.
There was one incident where we were in and they told us he wasn't going to make it through the night. That was kind of hard, but
they told us tell him goodbye. It was okay to let him go. We called the doctor several times and told her there's something wrong with him, and she finally said, go to bed, get some rest, and call me in the morning. And he was on dialysis, so we couldn't just pick him up and take him to the hospital. They said that the squeeze factor of his heart was at 6%, and the lowest they ever had was 12. And when they found out that child had 12, that child died within 15 minutes after finding that out. It was hard because I didn't want to be selfish and have him suffer by having him here, because I knew he'd live a better life with God.
We felt we were hanging on too tight, and we went in with our ministers and we just gave him to God. I remember we were so stressed out and so, it was like somebody was ripping your heart out. And we prayed and we just said, God, we know you can heal him, but he's yours. If you want to take him, you can take him. And then the second time, when he went in respiratory arrest, that time I thought he was gone. All of a sudden he just went, went limp, and his eyes popped open, his beautiful blue eyes, and he was gone. And I was kind of crazy. I did a lot of running, and I ran out and told the doctor, I said, he's gone, and they just kind of looked at me like I was insane.
And they tried 6 hours to start an IV on him because he was so dehydrated. It took him 6 hours.
I had to hold him down for the doctor.
And he would just scream and look at you. And you have to sit there and say, Mommy loves you, and the only reason I'm letting him do this is because I love you. And he's got these eyes looking at you like, if you do, then why are you letting him do this to me, That was hard. I look at the neighbors and I see their simple life with 2 healthy kids, and I think, that's all I wanted. I remember saying when he was a baby, all I ever wanted was to be a mom. I didn't want to be a mom, a nurse, and a doctor. I would say the hardest part of this all is just to watch him go through everything. And sometimes when he asks questions, I simply don't have answers.
Try to get out of the hospital and go somewhere, and people are just being people, driving crazy everywhere and living life, and your friends would come to visit you, and they'd be talking about everything that was going on. And
sometimes you just want to pretend it's not your life. It's just like it's a dream. You're going to wake up and it's all going to be better. He's not. I'm not going to have to go sit and watch them dig for a vein to get an IV again. I'm not going to have to sit there and hear, well, he has to have another surgery, or he has to have this, or he has to, I remember praying many times, Lord, just give it to me. Let me have it. But it didn't work that way.
High above the chimney top, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rain.
And the more financial support the National Kidney Foundation has to expand these programs to get the word out that, hey, okay, Maggie's condition is serious, but it's fixable, it's curable. That one actually has a cure. We have the ways to prevent that from getting worse.